Here's the exact protocol that I use 1 hour before my exam to drastically improve my testing performance without studying more. This is probably one of my most requested videos to date, so I'm finally gonna break it down for you guys. If you don't know who I am, my name is Katkov. I'm the founder of UofTearless. Back in 2024, I went from my lowest grade ever at 37% to the top 4% of all first-year psychology students at my university, while only studying 2 hours a day across all of my courses. So with that being said, let's dive right in. One thing to get straight right off the bat is that the hour before an exam is not for learning new material. It is simply for increasing your capacity for retrieval of information and utilizing short-term memory. I've seen so many people underestimate the effect that retrieval practice and short-term cramming can have on your exams. This protocol is broken down into 3 phases. The first is fuel and activation, the second is consolidation and calming, and the third is final preparation. So let's dive right into the first phase. The first phase focuses on psychological and cognitive priming. And so there are 3 things that you need to do. The first, we're gonna go through the caffeine protocol. So 1 hour beforehand, before an exam, I have 35 milligrams of caffeine. This is my tolerance. It will be different for every individual, but for me, 35 milligrams works. I have a fairly low caffeine tolerance because I almost never take it. And caffeine, if you use it correctly, can actually be a flow trigger. I talk a lot about flow in my Flow State Secrets ebook. I will put a link in the description. It literally explains everything about how to get into a peak cognitive state. I highly recommend that you read it. It's a very quick read, and I've also made an audiobook in case you don't want to read it and you're lazy like me. One mistake that I see a lot of people make is that they take too much caffeine too close to an exam. I take my normal caffeine dose an hour out from my exam. This gives it time to have that initial spike, but then kind of like settle a little bit. And then towards the end of the exam, it's kind of just starting to wear off. I take 35 milligrams of caffeine 1 hour before. I also pair it with L-theanine. L-theanine is an amino acid that your brain uses, and it kind of helps to mitigate all the jitteriness effects of caffeine, and it also helps caffeine last longer. And so pairing both of these together makes a really good focused cocktail. You're also gonna wanna make sure that you drink at least 500 milliliters of water. Yes, you might have to pee, but that is okay because it is going to sharpen you up so well. A lot of the time when people can't focus, it's probably just because they're dehydrated. And a lot of people don't realize just how dehydrated they actually are. Most people walk around dehydrated for the majority of the day. Even mild hydration deficiency can lead to cognitive impairment, and being hydrated helps with neurological activation and synapse activity, and it also helps to boost the effects of caffeine because caffeine can have a lot of negative effects if you're not properly hydrated. So that should take about 5 minutes in total. Now you are 55 minutes until your exam. This step is going to last from 55 minutes to 35 minutes before your exam. Now when I'm studying and preparing for an exam, the few days leading up to an exam, I will take screenshots of any slides or any notes that I know that I might forget when I'm going into the exam. And so this is the time to review those. The biggest mistake you can make here is trying to learn something new. Do not try to learn something new. It is better to learn 50% of the course with absolute certainty than to try to learn 100% of the course with 50% certainty. One way, at least you're going to have a good understanding of 50% of the material. And the other half, you're probably gonna have about the same understanding as you would if you just tried to learn the whole course with 50% clarity. You can have an educated guess, and even if you guess like a third of them correct, that's still better than 50%. So the biggest mistake you can make is trying to learn something new. In these 20 minutes, review all of the screenshots, all the slides of only the things that you think you're gonna forget. The stuff you already know really well, you don't need to review. Maybe just glance over it like as you're scrolling through, but just like don't even stop to look at it because you only have 20 minutes. All right, on to phase 2. Phase 2 is consolidation and calm. This phase focuses on nutritional optimization and mental clarity. So with 35 minutes left to go until your exam, until about 10 minutes before your exam, so 25 minutes total, you're going to have a light snack and sort of a mental break. Your brain is gonna be fatigued from reviewing all that stuff. You wanna give it a chance to consolidate the information. And when you're eating food, I cover nutrition in my Flow State Secrets ebook, but you don't want a heavy meal because a heavy meal is gonna give you that carb crash. It's gonna divert blood away from the brain towards the stomach. It's gonna make you less focused. You're gonna feel sluggish and not mentally sharp. For this, I recommend around 20 grams of protein and 20 to 30 grams of carbohydrates. That is pretty much it. I would not go over that. Every time I've gone over that, I just feel like I've been hit by a bomb as soon as I get into the exam. And it takes until halfway where I've digested it a little bit and start to clear up mentally. but you really want to avoid that fog. Another thing that is super, super crucial to getting peak performance out of yourself is to have a mental cue. If you don't know what a mental cue is, it's pretty much anything that is salient or something that grabs attention. It could be anything that involves your senses. It could be a sound, it could be a taste, it could be a smell, it could be a picture that you imagine, or it could be something that you touch. It literally doesn't matter. The way that I like to do it is that while I'm studying a specific subject, I will have a specific drink. Not with caffeine, but like, let's say I was studying social psychology. For social psychology, I would have a diet ginger ale. For something like developmental psychology, I might have a Sprite Zero. The taste is what matters. And so if you have the same taste in your mouth, it will help to recall the information that you were learning while tasting that thing. During this time, around like 25 minutes until your exam, just make sure that you have your drink ready. You can go get it from a store, you can get it from the cafeteria, just make sure that you have it in your bag. Sometimes I'll do like Gatorade, different flavors of Gatorade are really well. They also have carbohydrates in them, keep in mind, but it is good to have a steady stream of glucose, sugar. So if you go with Gatorade, that is also a perfectly fine option. With 22 minutes left to go, we're still in phase 2, I like to take a 12-minute nap. This is probably one of the most impactful things that I do. I would always practice 12-minute nap before you do it for the first time in an exam. You want to make sure that you will actually fall asleep within 2 minutes and wake up ready and feeling refreshed. If you're one of those people that say, I can't nap for only 12 minutes, trust me, you can. You just need to actually practice it. And you'll be able to fall asleep faster and faster, and you will get more out of every minute that you are asleep. This will be especially powerful because you're also taking caffeine. And it is also incredibly powerful for helping you consolidate the information that you reviewed from 55 minutes to 35 minutes in. So you take this 12-minute nap 22 minutes before your exam. With 10 minutes left, as soon as you wake up, we now enter phase 3. Now phase 3 is from 10 minutes to 0 minutes before the exam. The last few minutes are for final mental activation and transition. One thing to keep in mind is that you want to be close enough to the exam center or whatever it is that you're going to be taking your exam that you can get there in like 5 minutes. Oftentimes I'll just take a nap in one of the dining halls and then go straight to the exam center instead of coming from home because it takes too long. So as soon as you wake up, you want to get up and go for a walk. Use that transition time to wake yourself up as you're going to the exam. You're gonna have caffeine in you, you're gonna have L-theanine in you, you're going to have consolidated all the information into short-term memory, and now you're just on your way to the exam center, chilling out. Now that you have 5 minutes left and you're in the location of your exam, do not go into the testing room yet. Stand outside so that they're not telling you to put your stuff away, and go over the things that you are most immediately going to forget. And then you can walk into the exam pretty much as soon as it starts. The 2 biggest mistakes that I see are, 1, people try to review too many things at once, and that just takes up space in your working memory. In your short-term memory, you have something called working memory. And working memory is all of the stuff that you're actively going over in your head. And it will stay there as long as you're actively going over it. But it is very limited to about 5 items, 7 at the most. So you really don't want to overcrowd your brain with more than 5 things to think about. That is the end of the final cram, but here's a bonus for you. As soon as the exam starts, just start writing down everything that you think you're going to forget. Don't fill in your name, don't fill in the bubble sheet, whatever it is. Immediately start writing things down as soon as you can, because these are the things that you're going to forget over time. Once they're on the paper, you will free up so much mental energy. You will feel so clear and ready and focused because you're going to be psychologically and physiologically primed to do so. I highly recommend drawing diagrams on the exam booklet or wherever you can in the margins. Anything to get it out of your brain. And then once you've done all the stuff in working memory, then you can start writing down things that you might not want to use energy later on in the test to remember. So this could be things that you sort of know well, and then maybe even a couple things where you've connected ideas together in your head, but you want to make sure that you connect them in case you're given the opportunity to talk about it in a short answer or long answer question. So with that, I will leave you. Thank you, UofTearless Tribe, for being freaking awesome. If you're new to the UofTearless Tribe, welcome to the family. There are a lot of stressed students out there and we don't want you to be one of them. Stay in school because it's about to get a whole freaking lot easier if you watch my videos, so be sure to subscribe. Once again, my name is Katkov. I'm the founder of UofTearless. Subscribe if you don't want to miss another video. Like, do it right now, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.